Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give praise and glory and honor to Yahweh Bashim Shai. I'd like to say double honors to the elders, apostles, a great millstone. Salutation, Akim, that's pushing his word, true and sincerity, alright? Yishar Kabar, Bun Yahweh, Bun Yashirala. This is another motivation, a weak motivation about ethnic nationalism. It's a this week's motivation. It said that ethnic tension will escalate. Look up articles displaying one one or pivotal points within this time that shows the ethnic tension rising filtered with scriptures. So basically I'm gonna go into the history and then I'm gonna go in the video and show you how this ethnic nationalism tension is all about, man. All right, through time, um I'm gonna read the article. Matter of fact, this Wikipedia. It's a ethnic nationalism. It's a also known as the ethno-nationalism. It's a form of nationalism wherein the nation is defined in terms of ethnicity. Slovakia. Let's say the central theme of ethnic nationalists is that nations are defined by a shared heritage, which usually includes a common language, a common faith, and a common ethnic ancestry. It also includes ideas of a culture shared between members of the group and with their ancestors. However, it is different from the purity cultural definition of the nation, which allows people to become members of a nation by cultural assimilation. All right, and from purely linguistic definitions, according to which the nation consists of all speakers of a specific language. All right, I'm gonna get into the history real quick. You say Herodotus is the first who stated the main characteristics of ethnicity, which is famous account of what defines Greek identity. He lists kinship, all right, of the same blood, language, speaking the same language, cults and customs of the same habits of life. So I'm gonna look up who Herodotus is. He was a Roman, second century AD of the Greek bust of Herodotus from the first half of the 4th century BC. I'm gonna read a little bit of him real quick. It says Herodotus was a Greek historian who was born in Halicarnassus in Persian Empire, modern day Boredom, Turkey, and lived in the 5th century BC, 484 to 425. Contemporary of Socrates, which is often referred to as the father of history, first conferred by Cicero. He was the first historian to know have broken the Homeric tradition to treat historical subjects as a method of investigation, specifically by collecting his materials systematically and critically and then arranging them into a historiographic narrative. All right. The histories is the only work which is known to have produced a record of inquiry on origins to Greco-Persian wars, including the wealth of geographical and ethnographical information. Some of the stories were fanciful, and others inaccurate. Yet he states that he was reporting only that he was told to sizable portion of the information he provided was later confirmed by historians and archaeologists. Despite Herodotus' historical significance, little is known of the personal life of academic history. All right, so that's Herodotus, man. All right, he the one that really started the ethnic tension. All right, he like orchestrated it basically. I'm gonna go to the characteristics of it. It's the central political tent of ethnic nationalism is that ethnic groups can be identified as unambiguously, and that each such group is entitled of self-determination. The outcome of this right to self-determination vary from cell for Slovakia may vary from calls for self-regulated administrative bodies within a already established society to an autonomous entity separated from that society to sovereign state, removed from the society in international relations, is also lead to policies and movements for eruditism to claim a common nation based upon ethnicity. All right. In scholarly literature, ethnic nationalism is usually contrast with civic nationalism. Ethnic nationalism bases membership of the nation or descent or heredity, often articulated in terms of common blood or kinship rather than on political membership. Hence, nation states with strong traditions of ethnic nationalism tend to define nationality or citizenship by just sanguinis, the law of blood descent from person. That nationality and countries with strong traditions of civic nationalism tend to define nationality or citizenship, the law of soil birth within the nation state. Ethnic nationalism is therefore seen as exclusive, with civic nationalism tend to be inclusive, rather than allegiance to common civic ideals, Salakia, and cultural traditions. Then ethnic nationalism tends to emphasize narrative of common descent. I'm gonna read a little more real quick. I'm gonna read right here real quick. Say the theories of Anthony D. Smith use the term ethnic nationalism for the Western concept of nationalism as opposed to Western views of a nation defined by its geographical territory. Disappointed study scholars extend this non-graphical, geographically bound concept of nation among diasporic communities, at times using the term ethno-nation. It's a ethno-nation, Slovakia. Ethno-nationalism to describe the conceptual collective of dispersed ethnics. All right. I'm gonna read this real quick. Ethnic nationalism is also present in many states' immigration policies in the form of repatriation laws. States such as Armenia, Bulgaria, Croatia, Estonia, Finland, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Ireland, Israel, Italy, and Romania, Russia, and Siberia, and Turkey provide automatic or rapid citizenship to members of diasporas of their own dominant ethnic group is desired. For example, Israel's law of return grants every Jew the right to settle in Israel and automatically acquire citizenship. And that's also through ethnic tension, man. All right. It's a German nationality law. Citizenship is open to ethnic Germans, according to Greek nationality law. Greeks born abroad may transmit citizenship to their children from generation to generation, identically. As of 2013, this is also true in the case of the Philippine nationality law, which has conferred Philippine citizenships on children born after October 15, 1986, with at least one Philippine citizen parent. All right. It say that on the other hand, civic nationalism defines membership as an individual duty to observe given law, in turn receive legal privileges. A nation state for ethnic group derives from political legitimacy from its status and homeland of the ethnic group, from its protective function against colonization, persecution, or racism, and from its claim to facilitate the shared cultural and social life, which may not have been possible under ethnic groups' previous status as an ethnic minority. So that's the history and the characteristics of nationalism, man. All right, and I'm gonna go to the video real quick, and I'm gonna show you what is nationalism, and it's gonna break it down to you through the video. Slovakia.
Producing. It's no secret that anarchists don't like states. In fact, we anarchists are generally defined by our rejection of and opposition to state institutions, such as governments, police, and prisons. But while opposing these physical manifestations of the states is certainly an important part of anarchist practice, anarchist critiques of the state go much further and include the underlying social relationships and ideologies that have historically been used to create states and to uphold their authority. One of the most important of these concepts is nationalism. So what is it exactly? And what do anarchists have against it? Well, basically, nationalism is a kind of social glue that holds together people of different ethnic, tribal, linguistic, religious, and cultural groupings into a single defined population, linked to a specific geographic territory. The problem with nationalism is not necessarily that it's a glue. There are plenty of examples of organic nationalism, based on shared culture, language, and history. And in fact, many anarchists have been heavily influenced by and have even participated in struggles motivated by nationalism, such as the resistance waged by indigenous nations against their colonial oppressors, or the establishment in 1929 of the Shinmin Autonomous Zone by Chinese, Korean, and Japanese anarchists fighting against Japanese imperialism. The problem with nationalism lies in its tendency to mask social contradictions among a population, thereby allowing for the reproduction of hierarchies, which in turn end up producing a new state structure. Which is another way of saying that nationalism is a force that groups people together in a way that tends to maintain the division of the human race into competing states. In countries with strong state institutions, nationalism is more commonly referred to as patriotism, and everyone is conditioned from a young age to believe that loving your country is one of the most important natural things you can do. In school, we are forced to stand every morning for the national anthem and taught a heavily sanitized version of our nation's history. We even celebrate its birthday every year, with fireworks no less. Because nationalism is so ingrained into our lives, customs, and beliefs, many people will be surprised to learn that it is a relatively new thing. While some countries, such as China, have existed as a more or less unified territory for thousands of years, others, such as Italy, have been around for less than 150. And lots of states are even younger than that. For most of human history, nation-states simply did not exist. Instead, the world was split up into city-states, ruled by kingdoms and empires, whose borders were in a constant state of flux. Back then, most people lived simple lives as farmers and had very little contact with what we now understand as the state. And because languages were mostly passed on orally, Many different dialects flourished and existed side by side. Although nationalism emerged in different parts of the world at different times, the development of the modern nation state is often associated with the early development of capitalism and European colonial expansion beginning in the 16th century. The race to plunder the world of its land and resources kicked off an intense competition between kingdoms in Europe, leading to the proliferation and gradual consolidation of states with clearly defined borders. In the so-called New World, settlers from a variety of European nations forged new collective national identities, born of the shared experience of racial domination over indigenous nations and enslaved Africans. During the mid-19th century, many states first began introducing centralized education systems, further facilitating nationalist indoctrination and helping to eliminate remaining linguistic and cultural differences. In extreme cases, such as the residential school system in so-called Canada, this practice amounted to full-fledged genocide. Not content with their pillage of the Americas, European colonialists carved up Africa and the former Ottoman Empire into arbitrarily defined states, which in turns produced nationalist strongmen who brutally massacred linguistic and ethnic minorities such as the Armenians and the Kurds in the Middle East. Nationalism relies on grand, unifying narratives to bind populations together in pursuit of a common destiny. Whether this assumes the form of the individualistic pursuit of the so-called American dream or the Nazis' pursuit of the Third Reich, whether the heavily militarized ethno-religious protectionism of Israel or the totalitarian self-reliance of North Korea's Juche, nationalism provides an ideological framework for the manipulation and social control of large groups of people. It provides a sense of collective belonging and unity of purpose, while simultaneously helping to justify the massive application of state violence towards perceived others. Human history is awash in blood justified in the name of nationalism. Ethnic cleansing and genocide to aggressive wars launched in defense of abstract, emotion-laden concepts such as freedom or the glory of the fatherland. Rather than limiting ourselves to the narrow perspective of nationalism, anarchists put forward the competing concept of internationalism. This flows from the realization that borders and nations are artificial constructs meant to divide us, and that struggles for freedom and dignity waged anywhere in the world are deserving of our solidarity and support. That rather than fighting and dying in wars for the sake of the rich and powerful, oppressed people should unite to wage war against our common oppressors. And finally, that for humanity to reach its full potential and come together to confront the problems that we face as a species, we require nothing less than a global revolution.
All right, that was a video on what is nationalism, man. You know, and it breaks down the ethnic tension of the rising of other nations as well. So I got my other cell phone, so I'm just gonna read it. This is from the etymology dictionary. For those brothers that we get on the etymology dictionary, you can type up nationalism. You know what I'm saying, and ethnic. So basically, I'm gonna look up the word ethnic. Ethnic. It goes back to the late Latin, pagan heathen late Latin in the 15th century. Ethnicus from Greek ethnikos, or of or for a nation, a national. All right. So ethnic basically is for a nation, like for your own nation. Adopted a genius or customs of a people, particular to a people and among grammarians, suited to the manners of or language of foreigners. From ethnos, band of people living together. No, nation, people, tribe, caste, also under swarms or flocks of animals, properly people of one's own kind. So basically, man, America, man, you gotta understand that Esau, man, he all about nationalism and he all about America, and basically he all about his own people. You know what I'm saying? Most jakes don't know nothing about ethnic groups and all that stuff, man. All right. Um, it says from ethnos, band of people living together, nation, people, tribe, Caste also use swarms or flocks of animals, properly people of one's own kind. All right. Uh, that's basically it, man. All right. Um, Nationalism, you know what I'm saying? Etymology dictionary say it say 1844 devotion to one's country. You know what I'm saying? Basically, you know what I'm saying, ethnic nationalism is basically devotion to one's country, man. And some urges from French nationalism, you know, in French. Earlier, it was used as a theological sense of the doctrine of divine election of nations. All right, say later it was used in sense of doctrine advocating nationalization of countries' industry. All right, so yeah, man, this is the the true breakdown of ethnic nationalism, man, and the rising of people as well. So I'm gonna go to the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. Um, it say Matthew chapter 24 verse 7. It say, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in divers places." So basically, you know, that's basically, you know what I'm saying, the tension, you know, the ethnic tension that's in the scriptures. Nation shall rise against nation. So basically in the Bible, it already prophesied about ethnic nationalism, the ethnic tension. All right. All right. So and also it's gonna be, you know, kingdom against kingdom. So these other countries gonna rise against each other too, as well. All right. It's gonna be famines and pestilence and earthquakes, you know what I'm saying, behind it. So that's exactly what's gonna come. All right. Uh I'm gonna go to, I think I lost it. No, I didn't. The water. I'm gonna go to Second Ezra, chapter 9, verse 1, and say, "He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in himself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before." You know what I'm saying? Us being a man of the Lord, man, we gotta measure the time. You know what I'm saying? And the time we living in World War II. You know what I'm saying? We're living in you know what I'm saying? We live in Slovakia, World War III, Slovakia, World War II. We living in World War III, man. We living in the time of these different nations, man, finna nuke each other, man. You know what I'm saying? We living in risings of other nations, man. You know, we living in race wars. You know what I'm saying? We living in actually racism tension, man. All right. So he answered me and then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass. And that's a sign that we living in, you know, and the racial tension and also the national ethnic, you know what I'm saying, groups that's rising up. All right. Which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. The highest is Yahweh Bashim Shai. He's gonna visit the world, man. You know, it's gonna be the scriptures say in Isaiah, it say alas that day is great, you know what I'm saying? And there's no other like it, all right? It say, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. So that's part of the ethnic tension right there, man. You're gonna see uproars of the people, man. That's part of the nationalism and stuff like that, you know. So with that, man, I could say uh call Allah Yahweh Shema Shai. I like to say double honors to the elders apostles, great millstone. And salutation to the Akim that's pushing this word, truth, sincerity. I hope you Akim out there was edified. If not, then let me know. Then I'll do it over. All right, Shalom.